What's up, guys? Brian here, representing Neo Overlay Network, bringing you guys my Battlewasp deck profile. This is one of the decks that came out in Battles of Legends Heroes Revenge last year. They did get a reprint for one of the cards that I was needing. I think it was Cocoon of Ultra Evolution in the Legendary Duelist Season 1, and that was a really great reprint because I was needing it. It was very expensive. I was not trying to spend that for this type of deck because it's not as competitive, but it's a very fun one, and everything's in high rarity for the most part, and it's cheap. Everything's like a quarter or under a quarter for the Battlewasp stuff, and yeah, let's get on into it. 40 card deck, 15 card extra deck. It's pure insect extra deck because that's how we roll for this one, and yeah, let's get on into it. So for the main deck, we're gonna highlight Mr. Sting the Poison. So the level 2 tuner of the deck, if I'm not mistaken, yes, he is the level 2 tuner of the deck, Insect. His effect is when he has normal or special summon, you can add one Battlewasp monster from your deck to your hand except for him, and then quick effect, you can tribute one other insect monster, then target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effect until the end of this turn. So very helpful in just negating certain big body boards and just making certain targets not a threat, and very helpful. And then he is probably the MVP of the deck, and I wanted to highlight him first because definitely a great little tuner that we have. Very powerful, very powerful. Next, we have 3 Battlewasp Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire, his effect is when he has normal special summon, you can target one level 3 or lower insect monster in your graveyard, and you're usually going to go for Sting the Poison because he's just crazy good. And then in your graveyard, special summon defense position, and then when this card in your possession is controlled by an opponent's card, you can special summon one Battlewasp monster from your hand or deck, and then yeah, pretty crazy. Unfortunately, it's a hard once per turn, and they're all insect wins, and yeah, can do some pretty gnarly stuff in here. Next, we run 3 Battlewasp Twinbow the Attacker. He's a level 3. I think we run a total of 6 level 3s in here, so he's one of the level 3s that this deck has. And then his effect is during the main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, but you're locked into only insect monsters, hence why we only run pure insect extra deck, because it's very crucial to not be locked into anything but insects for this deck. And then you can only use this effect of Twinbow the Attacker once per turn, but he can attack twice during the battle phase, so he can be helpful for attacking for game if that does pop up with him. If you want to go for that route, be a little flashy and styly, get cheeky, you can attack for game with him. And then 3 Battlewasp Pin the Bullseye. He's pretty much my insect imitation target for the deck because I run 3 insect imitations, and then we're going to get to that card in a bit. But Mr. Pin the Bullseye is, if you control an insect monster, it can be a token, be whatever, you can special this card from your hand during the main phase, and then inflict 200 damage to your opponent, so pretty much do a little spark burn damage right here with him. And yeah, just helps in doing some burn damage, and Battlewasps are known for doing some crazy burn damage if you do get the board set up, which is nice. And then unfortunately he has a hard once per turn, so yeah. We run 3 of him. Then for probably the best card in the deck next to Sting the Poison, we have 3 Parasite Paranoids. Quick effect, pretty much a hand trap, I want to say. You can target one face-up monster in the field, equip this card from your hand to that target, and then you can only use this effect of Parasite Paranoid once per turn. There's that. It's the equipped monster becomes an insect. It cannot attack insect monsters. Also negate its activate effects that target insect monsters, so you're neutralizing targets, and it's great to pair it off with the Cocoon of Ultra Evolution right here, guys, because Cocoon of Ultra Evolution, we'll get into in a bit, is a very powerful card, but pretty much helps neutralize certain threats also because your opponent cannot attack your insect monsters. So very helpful. And then when this card is sent from the field to if this quick card is sent to your graveyard, you can special summon one level 7 or higher insect monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. So very helpful in helping you cheat out your Doom Dozier if you do have it in hand, just ignoring its summoning conditions. So it's pretty crazy what this guy can offer you. Just insects have some really little interesting cheeky things they can do, and then that I've always liked. So there's that. And then I think they were meta in speed duels for some reason. Somebody in the comment section can let me know. And then we run 2 Gokipo, just freaking great card. Its effect is if this card is sent to the graveyard, it doesn't matter how it's sent, you can add 1 level 4 insect monster from your deck to your hand, and if you added a normal monster, you can special summon it. Then you can destroy 1 monster on the field with attack greater than or equal to that special summon monster. Notice that effect isn't targeting anything, it's just it just states that you do that. So it's great to pair off with your shiny Black Sea Squatter because he is 2000 attack. He is a big boy, and then he's gonna destroy a monster with attack greater than or equal to him. So it's gonna be 2000 or above. So that is crazy. So definitely you want to run him because along with this package, the Gokipo, the shiny Black Sea Squatter package, because it is one of the better packages in my opinion in this deck. And then for the 1-0s, we're gonna get into Transcicada. Great little insect imitation target because when he is special summon, you can special one Malut token insect level 3 onto the field, and then while the token is special summoned by this effect, you cannot special summon a monster from the extra deck except insect monster, which is fine. We just have insects, and then he is a level 3 tuner, helping you tune out some of your Battlewasps. So very important, and he is an insect tuner. So a nice little 1-0 right here in the deck, and a great insect imitation target. Then we run one Renaissance Insect, and then if this card is sent from the field to your graveyard, unfortunately it has to be sent from the field to your graveyard, you can add one level 5 or higher insect monster from your deck to your hand. So usually you want to add Doom Dozer, and then when he is banished, you can send one insect monster from your deck to your graveyard. So definitely great in setting up some graveyard plays, and on top of that, or setting up the Gokipo plays, and then on top of that, sending whatever else you may want to send to graveyard to deck trim or anything. And yeah, you can run a giant ballpark package if you choose to, but I chose not to. But there is that option with this deck. So there is that. I just wanted to go for a more synchro build, but there is that for Renaissance Insect. And then Doom Dozer. Doom Dozer is a great card in this deck because he's a big boy. And see, unfortunately he cannot be normal summoned or set. He can only be special summoned by banishing 2 insect monsters from your graveyard, and then when he inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you send the top card of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. So pretty nice, pretty interesting, and a good 1-of in the deck. And then another good 1-of is the Worm Warrior, just to get you a free body on board, because all you need to do for him is just banish an insect from your graveyard and then special summon him. And then yeah, when he inflicts battle damage to your opponent, I think he also sends the top card of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. Yep, he does send the top card of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. So a good little 1-of right there, little 4. And then we run... That's it for the monsters, guys. No hand traps in this one. I just wanted to make it like more casual theme. It's just a fun deck. It's a really fun deck. I just love seeing these cool little insects on the field. Then we run 3 Revival Swarm. Its effect states that you can target one Battlewasp monster in your graveyard special summon. It just says Battlewasp monster. It doesn't have to be in the level 3 or lower. It can be some of your big boy synchros. It can be Ballista. It can be whatever you want as long as it's Battlewasp. So that then you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target one insect monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects until the end of the next turn. So very powerful card, and helps protect your Battlewasp when you do get them out there, or just any insect monster you control. Helps protect it because this deck is very normal summon reliant, and yeah, it's very hard to come back from that. But nevertheless, they do a great job swarming. Hence, the next card I'm going to bring out is Summon Swarm, which is just soul charge for Battlewasp. Unfortunately, it's all for level 4 or lower Battlewasp. And then let's get into it. Its effect is target level 4 or lower Battlewasp monster in your graveyard up to the number of monster your opponent controls special summon. So just yeah, insane. And then you can only activate one of these guys once per turn, so if your opponent negates the activation, you can use the second one in hand. You cannot special summon a monster from the extra deck the turn you activate, except insect monsters, hence why we run only pure insects, because we are restricted heavily into insects. Next, the godly reprint that's not getting enough love in my opinion is Cocoon of Ultra Evolution. Thank God they reprinted, because I was not trying to pay that much money for Cocoon of Ultra Evolution. But yeah, its effect is tribute one insect monster from either field with an equipped card, and if you do, special summon one insect monster from your deck, ignoring summoning conditions. And then during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one insect monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, draw a card. So you can use that at the same turn that you use it. So obviously the synergy here is very crazy with Parasite Paranoid, because Parasite Paranoid, like we stated earlier, can be you can target one face-up monster in the field, equip this card to your hand, it becomes an insect monster. So you just send, and quick play, guys. This is quick play magic card. So disruption on your opponent's turn, and yeah, you're getting rid of bodies, and you're able to draw a card on top of it and shuffle back resources into your deck to help you get into the grind game. So I'm very, very glad they reprinted this one, and I don't know why people aren't talking about it more, because to me it's one of the reprints that is much needed for people that just wanted to make this deck a little bit better, you know, without spending so much money. So I thank Konami for that, and yeah, just a great card. I mean, Parasite Paranoid was, I think, a very key thing in speed duels, because it was just turboing out like Graveskeeper stuff, but I can't really recall. So yeah. But next card is Insect Imitation. A throwback card. Some of these, two of them say magic, one of them say spell. This one says spell, these two say magic over here. So if you guys aren't familiar with this card, I don't blame you, because it is pretty old, but all it is, to sum it up, is just transmodify for insects. And yeah, so yeah, just special summon one level higher. So if you have a level 1 insect, bring out the level 2 insect. They have a level 3, level 4, etc. And then yeah, that's all it is. But throwback card, I think it's like $1 now, because it's hard to find, not a lot of printings of it. So yeah, run 3 of that, and then we run 2 Twin Twisters, because it is good to pair off with Gokipo, but I just like 2 for right now. It's just personal preference. Obviously you can bump it up to 3. There's that. And then 1 Mr. Foolish, because sending Gokipo is great and helpful. And then, because we don't want to get hand trapped ourselves, we run 3 Call Bias. So yeah, there's that. That's it for the 40 card main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. Mr. Battlewasp, Halberd the Charge. All it requires is 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner monster, and then once per battle during damage calculation, when this card attacks an opponent's monster with equal or higher attack, this is a quick effect. You can have the attack of that opponent's monster during that damage calculation only. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Battlewasp monster you control. So there's that little spark burn damage I was mentioning, and yeah, unfortunately it's only a hard once per turn, so if you have multiple ones of him, you can't really abuse it too much, but hey, gotta love it when they're on the field, right? Next, for the next 3 of Synchro in this deck, we run 3 Azusa, the Ghost Bow. I was gonna say the Bow Goddess, but again, another 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner monster. So her effect is, and she is a tuner also, which is very helpful in getting into Ballista. So yeah, when your opponent takes effect damage from another Battlewasp monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of that monster. So if you're able to inflict that battle damage with Halberd, and then Azusa is on the field, your opponent's gonna take some pretty big burn damage, dude. Like it's crazy the amount of burn damage you take. And then you can only use this effect of Azusa the Ghost Bow once per turn, and when she is destroyed by battle, when a monster is destroyed by battle with your Battlewasp monster while she's in the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard in defense position, but banish it when you leave the field. Just very helpful if you are able to get her, and definitely a 3 of it in this deck, just because very helpful in getting that burn damage done. And then we run 2 Battlewasp, Hammer the Conquering Bow, the level 8 synchro of the deck. He's also generic, which is crazy. And then if this card was synchro summoned using a synchro monster material, it can make a second attack during the battle phase. So yeah, hence Azusa, why we run 3. Yeah, he can do some pretty big damage. And when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can make all monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attacks. So that's an on-target also, which is great. And then at the end of the battle phase, your opponent has not taken any battle damage this step. You can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Battlewasp monster in your graveyard. So there's the burn damage I was mentioning, which is a little great thing they can do on top of their battle phase stuff, which is great in just, you know, hitting your opponent with something they're not expecting. And then 1 Ballista, the other Ballista, Armageddon, the big girl of the deck, because her effect is, when she is special summoned, you can banish all insect monsters from your graveyard. All monsters your opponent control lose 500 attacks. So yeah, they're gonna get pretty much murked by this thing. And then if this card attacks in the defense position monster, inflict piercing down damage. And when the synchro summon card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon 3 or banish 11 or lower insect monsters. Something that doesn't really come up too often, because when you do bring this guy out, it's usually going to be game more often than not. Just a big body. And yeah. Now for the links, we run one Seraphim Papillion. Hopefully I said that right. Two monsters with different names. Gains 200 attack for each counter on it. And then you can only use one of the following effects of Seraphim Papillion per turn, and only once that turn. Unfortunately, I wish I could use more of her effects, but when she is link summoned, you can place one counter on this card for each insect monster used as link material. We run all insects for the most part, so spoiler, yeah, crazy, right? Quick effect, you can remove one counter from this card, special summon one level 4 insect monster from your graveyard in defense position. So if you're able to get Transcidia or some of your tuners or some of your niche monsters out in the graveyard, very good in swarming. And not only that, just going into link plays, because we do have ways are getting our good old Battlewasp big. For example, Great Fly, just a great generic link 2. All it takes is 2 wind monsters, and all wind monsters you control gain 500 attack, and then all earth monsters lose 500. So for that Adamancer matchup, it may be helpful. It's come up helpful here and there, but obviously we get bodied because this deck is on a different tier, but we are able to steal some games through Perseverance, which is nice. And then when this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one wind monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, so letting you add resources to hand. And then if you're able to get 2 of these guys out, 1,000 boost to your Battlewasp is pretty nice. So yeah. And then 2 Insector Pico Fallon, just a nice little great generic link 2 support. When she's link summoned, you can discard one card and target one insect monster you control. Equip one insect monster from your deck to it as an equipped spell to gain its effect. And not only is it great, it's very great for this deck because we run the Parasite Paranoid. You're able to equip Parasite Paranoid from your deck onto your opponent's monster, and if you have Cocoon of Ultra Evolution, you're going to be able to break some boards and do some crazy stuff. The thing I love about these cheap decks is they can do some cool little niche stuff that your opponent isn't necessarily expecting, and it can catch them by surprise. That's the first part of her effect. And then the equipped monster gains 500 attack and defense, and then that doesn't really matter because, like we said, we use Cocoon of Ultra Evolution. And then you can target 3 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. 3 insect monster in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, draw a card. So yeah, helping you once again stay in the grind game if need be. And then lastly, for the last insect, we have one number 20 Giga Brilliant. I had to go for the ulti, it was so cheap, why not? And yeah, 2 level 3 monsters, doesn't have to be insects, but he has insects, so yeah, keep him because we're locked into mainly insects. And his effect is once per turn you can detach an Xyz material. All face up monsters you control gain 300. It's permanent, gain 300, very nice, and helping your Battlewasp get even bigger. And yeah, that does it for the deck profile, guys. Very budget deck. Honestly, everything here is probably under a quarter for the main deck. The Cocoon of Ultra Evolution is going to probably be a little bit of money, and the call buys obviously, and yeah, but everything else is pretty cheap. You don't even have to use the Doom Dozier or the Insect Warrior, because I know those guys can be up there in price because there are a little bit older cards. So yeah, but just wanted to share you guys my insect deck because I've always liked insects. I think they have some cool little things they can do along with Wing Beasts. And yeah, that's it, guys, for this deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. This is Brian representing the Overlay Network, signing out.